Hello and welcome to Alchemist Swim. I'm Alchemist Jen. Thanks for joining me on this fine day. I hope it's a good one for you, or maybe it can be, or maybe it's not, and that's okay too. I'm just glad you're here. I hope that this will brighten your day, even if it's just that I am super silly and I don't make a lot of sense and I ramble a lot, and that might be kind of funny, or maybe I'm just annoying. I'm not really sure. So today we're going to have a whim of the day like we do every day, and my whim is to go over my doodle of the day, do some knitting, and talk about my awesome backdrop that I made. So, this today's doodle, give 'em shell. Give 'em shell. Yes. I don't really have a plan most of the time when I go into a doodle, just like I don't have a plan when I go into a video. I like to leave it a little loose and see what happens, see where my brain goes, see what kind of happens and what kind of makes me smile. And that's kind of what I land on. So it's special, right? Special. So today, so behind me, I have this amazing hand-dyed fabric covered with hand crocheted, not like you can do anything else with crochet, it has to be hand done, little netting thing, big netting thing. It's not little by any means. So I made this to help me with some display things for my tent when I sell my goods, and then also I thought it would be super interesting to photograph t-shirts up against. It would hold them, and t-shirts and other clothing and things. So I'm going to make a taller version of the thing behind me, which is PVC frame that I'm draping the fabric over, but I'm going to do a taller version of it so that I can get some good angles on some clothing. So I just photographed some t-shirts against the backdrop that I have here, and then there's a lot of bright colors going on and things too, and so with the lighting that I have, which I used pretty much just what I have right now for this video, it came out pretty intense, and also not a lot of variation between the foreground being the shirt that I was trying to photograph, and I did photograph, I didn't try, I succeeded, and then the fabric behind it. So do some brainstorming. I was thinking about doing something a little darker, which I think would go in my favor behind the netting thing. So we'll see how that goes out. That's my next test. All of it is just an experiment, just like life. Life's an experiment, and you just never know what's going to happen, and sometimes something's cool, something, I can say words, some cool things happen. So I'm going to work on a little bit of knitting. This is my silly scarflet pattern, which you can get if you want to make it. It's on my website and it's free. But I like it as my go-to knitting because I don't have to look at the pattern. I've already got it memorized, and I memorized it through creating it and then knitting it again and again. So this is my third time through this pattern, and it's super easy, super beginner friendly. There's only a couple of stitches really and a little bit of counting, and it's so repeatable that I don't even have to think about it anymore. I didn't even think about it much to begin with. It just kind of just kept it super simple. So I'm not generally a knitter, like I've done knitting throughout my fiber adventures, but I've definitely done more crocheting. So so for me to have a knitting pattern that I've actually been able to repeat, or any pattern that I've been able to repeat 3 times, is saying something. So it's kept my attention, and I haven't had to think too much about where I am, and it's easy to pick it up and put it down without much hullabaloo. So if you're interested in something like that, or you just want to watch me just continue to work on this, I've completed the other 2 for, you know, a lot of it is front of the camera here. So over time. You may have been, if you've been watching all the time, which there might be a few of you, then you would have seen me working on them before. So, yay! Yay for things. Yay for making things. So, that's the thing I do, is keep making things. That's my thing. I'm just going to say random things. Say it again. So, I've been dyeing yarn today. So, got up super early, baked some bread, got some yarn ready to dye, put on soak in citric acid throughout the day, and did some yoga all before I went to my other job, and it was a very productive morning. And this evening has been productive as well. So I dyed 2 batches of yarn, so it's 20 skeins of yarn, 2 different colorways, and 4 pans of dye. So very cool. I was able to get that done this evening. So these are going to cool overnight through tomorrow. They'll just kind of chill, and then I will be able to wash them tomorrow night, and then they'll start their drying process. So yay for yarn. This is my favorite sock yarn base that I've got the yarns that I've dyed today on. I'm super excited. Very bold and friendly colors, and I think that you're gonna like them. So I'm excited to show you them when they are drier. They're very wet right now and very warm. So they like getting really warm and bubbly and boily, and then cooling down and letting all the color connections, you know, as long as they happen at their selected points. Sometimes different colors will like to be more, will make more connections during the cool down, which is very fascinating. Just it's chemistry, right? And time and heat and love and cheesy sense goes into doing hand dyed yarn. So and then I will be ordering some more yarn in next bit, once I decide what I want, how much of things I want to get, essentially. So I'll have that to work on as well. So yay! How about that excitementness? Excitementness. That's a wonderful word I just made up. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now, dyeing yarn. And then I think I've decided on my first 2 patterns for my crochet patterns and kits, so that I can figure out what colors I want to dye. Thinking a mercow, or I can't decide if I want to call it a mercow or a moo-maid, because that's just freaking adorable too. So, but I've been calling my mercow a mercow. So top cow, bottom fish. And so I can't decide if I want to make that one first, or what's the other thing? I think I just want to make a jackalope. But anything that I make will have something very interactive. So usually I end up doing some kind of clothing, something that's removable, something just adds an extra layer of detail and something to play with. I think that's very important. I like to kind of surprise and so I want to say the word delight, but it really just makes makes me happy to see somebody discover something about the things that I've made. So I like having those elements that just kind of take it to another level and, you know, create a positive emotional response to it. So those are things that I like. Those are things that I look for in what I make. Yay! So I'm finishing up this row. It's a great time to wrap up the video today. That's been the whim of the day, and then we'll see where the whim takes us tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. and I got my couple of rows in there, so I'll be looking to do another hole soon. We're getting there, almost there. And thank you. Have a good day.